I have no idea what's going on at the Secret Service these days. It seems like every day we hear a new story about some crazy antics. Now there's a new one with two agents that apparently rammed into a police barricade and were out drinking, I guess. Dan Bongino is actually an author and former congressional senatorial candidate who happens to have been in the Secret Service. In fact, he wrote a book, Life Inside the Bubble, Why a Top-Ranked Secret Service Agent Walked Away from It All. And he joins me now. Thanks for being here, sir.
Hey, no problem, Ben. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Okay, so I don't want to presume that I know whether or not things have often operated this way. Is this just the news media catching up on problems that already existed in law enforcement or in the Secret Service, and now it's getting more exposure, or has something changed?
Yeah, no, that's actually a pretty accurate analysis there, framing it that way. These problems have always been there, not just in the Secret Service, but what I consider isolated incidents have always been there. But with social media and 24-hour cable news, your streaming media, online media, the stories are just being heard about more often. And we have to just segregate these problems into operational failures like the fence jumper and, of course, the shooting on the South grounds, where it took a while to find the bullet, and personal issues here where there have been lapses and there haven't been any, luckily, severe operational consequences. But no, I don't think it's some just resurgence of bad behavior in law enforcement.
Do you feel, there was this panel last year that said that there were problems, that they needed leadership. I mean, was that your experience? Did you agree with the panel that came up with that determination?
You know, when I was there, the leadership was excellent. Towards the end, it started to get progressively worse, especially when we moved to DHS. And, one of the unknown problems that doesn't get a lot of media coverage, what happened with the Secret Service, was when we moved from Treasury, where we were kind of a big fish in a very small pond, into DHS, where we were a small fish in an enormous pond. A lot of the little problems got lost, and a lot of the people then could hide, a lot of the bad managers, or they could kind of align themselves with people in DHS and get promoted along the way. And those bad managers would then move some of their problems downhill, so to say. And after we entered into DHS, it didn't go well. It wasn't a good merger, let's say, for the Secret Service.
Now, that's really interesting. There were a lot of conservatives, and I know that you're very conservative, and there were a lot of conservatives who were upset that the Bush administration created basically a new government agency in the wake of 9/11, and there were a lot of people who said that it wasn't going to make things better, that it could in fact confuse things. And it sounds like this could be a textbook example of that. Is that your takeaway?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, those people were right. Instead of streamlining our intelligence agencies under one umbrella, law enforcement under another, and maybe an internal affairs at the federal level, that's not what we did. We created an entirely new entity and basically kept everybody individually siloed. The Secret Service, the Coast Guard, ICE, they're still in their own little buckets. And now we're just in this completely new behemoth, the DHS. And this bureaucracy is really, this growing bureaucracy at the federal level is failing the Americans left and right. I mean, do you want a government that does a lot of things really, really poorly, or a government that does a couple of things really, really well? This is a question every American has to ask. And we're approaching the event horizon now with the size of government and just complete failure operationally for us to get things done.
You're telling me that making the government bigger didn't fix it? I can't believe it. I just cannot believe it.
Shocker. You need to do another one of your Brian Williams nightly news specials on there.
I almost wore the wig.
Are absolutely awesome. So I hope the boss is listening.
Well, tell me where people can find you because you're always doing stuff.
Oh, thanks, Ben. I'm on Twitter at DBongino and Facebook Dan.Bongino. You can check us out, and I do all my own social media. So if you want to yell or scream at me, I'll yell right back.
I can vouch for that. You actually talk to people online. You don't hide behind your blue check.
I watch your stuff all the time.
That's right. Well, I appreciate it. I'll try to be Brian Williams for you next time. But thanks for coming on the show so much.
Thanks, Ben.
We'll be back with panel time after this.